Welcome to the worst with Chad Austin. Man, the first thing that's been on my mind this is for over a week now because I think that this got released right after I recorded the last episode. There are all these photos. Lizzo released new leggings, and if you haven't seen them, well, let me just tell you, Lizzo's new leggings look like her pussy is as hungry as she is. From the back, it looks like she's paying homage to oatmeal cookies, but really it's just her entire ass exposed. I mean, these are chaps for the chafed. It's insane. She's the incredible bulk, dude. Like, you could I could just picture her going to one of her assistants and goes, "My secret is I'm always hungry." But let's be real for a minute. Lizzo in those leggings are helping so many big girls choose bulimia. I do, but body positivity, right? Like, but I'm positive your body should never be shown that much in public, dude. Like, put something on, like, and I'm not. And I feel like so as a white guy, I don't get to have much say in other people's stuff, right? Like, I basically, unless it's like politics, which I don't care about, but I usually can speak on them because normally it's like two old white people, or fucking something to do with work. Who knows? Comedy, I don't know. But there's very few subjects that that a society says I'm allowed to butt in on, right? Because it's either racist, sexist, homophobic, blah blah blah. But I'm allowed to butt in on this because I'm a fat guy. I'm in that minority group, I guess, if that's what it is. I think we're now the majority, though. It's kind of fucking sad. But the deal is, I think that it's not okay. Like, I think Lizzo is personally responsible for a bunch of fat people saying that it's okay to be fat. Like, it's okay to like yourself, but shoving it down people's throat that you're unhealthy and you're happy about it, you're gonna get diabetes. You're gonna die of heart disease. I'm working on it right now. Like, dude, I'm fucking down 15 pounds and feeling like a fucking champ. Shout out to Nick Simmons. That's my dog. He got me on a plan. But I mean, if I'm as poor as I am and I can get into it, because I know that was my gripe for the longest time, right? Like, eating healthy is expensive, and I work so much I don't have time to do anything else. Nah, man, if it's important for you to stay alive, and honestly, up until I'm not even gonna say up until I had a kid, like, because honestly, up until like a few years ago when I realized how much I actually have, I wouldn't have said that my life is that important and who cares? I'm just going to do whatever the fuck I want. But no, you know what? It's good to have some fucking discipline in your life. It's good to show yourself some fucking respect. But when I say show yourself some respect, I don't mean like walk around with your whole ass out when you're 400 pounds, dude. You might be saying, "Oh, but this is me showing." No, dude, that's you giving. Dude, if I walked out of this studio right now onto Santa Monica Boulevard and I was wearing assless leggings that basically my entire dick was hanging out of, there would be no one giving me a yas queen. There will be people blinded by the whiteness of my ass first, and then once they realized what they were looking at, they'd run terrified, which is the normal response when somebody that doesn't look like the average Instagram model wears something like that. I just saw that on the way here, for fuck's sake. There was a lady crossing the street who was wearing a skin tight blue shirt, and in the middle of the shirt were like three holes cut out, like going down from the middle between the tatas and then like the sternum and then her belly. And she wasn't fit enough to be wearing this shirt, so she literally had meat hanging out of the holes. Like, it looked like you were she was cutting a cookie and that was the dough. This is, I mean, it's not, it doesn't look good. It's not fucking sexy, dude. And this is why it's 80 degrees out and I'll still throw on a sweatshirt, because this is how I feel good. I find one outfit that works for me and I stick with it. If I look at myself in the mirror and don't want to hang myself, it's a good day. And now I'm not saying that every fat person should be like this, but you should also be mindful that no one else, even if you feel great as a fat person, most people don't want to see it. If you got somebody in your life that loves seeing you naked and then you guys have a great time, cool, do that with them. Start an OnlyFans page. The people that want to see it will pay for it. I mean, it's as simple as that. The rest of us, who I feel like I'm now back in the majority with, don't really care to. And yes, there will be pictures of these leggings in this episode, at least in the clips, because I never edit the full episode, but I do things to clips. I'm learning how to edit video, guys. You're never too old to teach yourself shit. Fuck. Okay, so first things first. Well, I guess it'd be second thing, because I ranted for the first thing. I never do this, but I just worked 29 hours in the last 2 days, 29, 30, something like that. And so I normally, if I'm going to partake in weed at all, I will normally do it right before bed, because I don't function well as a human when I'm high. Dude, you could give me any other drug and I would act like it is a normal day in the neighborhood. No one would know at work. No one would know at home. I would talk to random strangers and they would never guess. At least, and that may not be true, but at least in my head, that's how I feel. However, when it comes to weed, the first thing I think after getting high is everyone within 5 blocks of me knows I'm high. So if I see somebody face to face, they know I'm high. And it's 2022. No one gives a shit, right? Everyone's fucking high. But I still have that weird high school paranoia of, oh shit, is my mom gonna catch me? It's not even that. Like, first person I ever had like a real conversation with about like weed and shrooms and even cocaine was like my mom telling me about like her life as a young person, instead of bullshitting me like, well, I never tried any drugs, so you shouldn't either. No, my mom was like, yeah, dude, I did these things because it's normal to do that when you're a teenager. And this is the fun that I had, but this is also the fucked up shit that happened. And life goes on, right? But today, because I had such a hellish past 2 days, about an hour ago, I said, I'm going to take an edible. And and this is how fucking pathetic my tolerance is. I took a 5 milligram gummy called Balance. My mother-in-law hooked us up with like a ton of gummies. So we have some for sleep, some for chilling, some for uplifting. And then we have ones for balance. We have this, and I have so many different types of gummies. And so I took the one, I was like, Balance. All right, let's see what this is like. Yuzu lemon. It was delicious. And so I took it, and then I had to go actually get my wife real weed. So I go to the weed shop and I buy her vape cartridges and I hand the girl the money. And it was like that moment when she was looking for change that I realized I was high, like really high. And it felt like everything in that encounter after that was in super slow motion from 5 milligram gummy. Yes, dude, I'm a pussy. And she was handing me my change and she's like counting back $8 in ones. And it felt like it was taking so fucking long. I just wanted to run out of there without my money, because it was, for some reason, I don't think any weed shop should be super bright, but the one I go to, all the walls are white and there's neon everywhere. And so it's just like illuminated. It looks like fucking heaven's waiting room. It's just white and illuminated. It sucks. But the people are really nice and it's the closest one to my house. I've been going there for like 3 years. They all know me and sometimes they give me shit for free. So I'll never not go. Plus, I'm going to just shout them out. Shout out to Urban Trees, who renamed themselves a really fucking dumb name and now they call themselves Ice Cream. Why? Ice Cream's a terrible name. And then their new slogan is Taste the Drip. Yay, dude. That sucks. Like, I really, really hate your new branding. But other than that, all of your people are legit. And I really like going there. So, all right. Enough of that. So yeah, really high. And so as soon as I realized I was high, I was like, okay, I need to balance out the balance gummy. So then I went and got 4 shots of espresso with a little bit of oat milk, which is standard. Usually I just do it because I'm an addict and my newest addiction or my lifelong addiction that I haven't quit and I never will is coffee. So that's normally why I have these things on me. But, now it's because I'm high and I'm I'm hoping that the caffeine kind of it's weird that I'm hoping caffeine brings me down, but if in my head, this was the most logical step to take. It was the only thing that I can think of was to be like, if something's going wrong, get coffee. And I think I use that a lot. Like in my, I think that's because it's, like I said, it's the addiction that I've chose to stick with. I quit cigarettes and now I have like the robot dick, which is, it sucks, but at least the one thing I enjoyed the ritual of cigarettes. I always did, like, a cigarette while driving was the best fucking thing ever to me, dude. I wanted to drive everywhere because of cigarettes. Now I still don't mind driving, but I'm not as jazzed to do it. It used to be fucking somebody was like, "Hey, you want to go to this spot? It's like 45 minutes away." And I'm like, "Cool, but we're taking my car because I can't smoke in yours, you fucking piece of shit." And then I would just drive and then put on some music and then window halfway down and just chain smoking. I mean, I had phases, Camel Reds, American Spirit Blues, blah, 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 but like, I mainly stuck to like the heavy hitters, there was always something about getting that little hit in the back of your throat made you feel like you were really about to die. Like that was my favorite part of smoking a cigarette. And then, there's the standards like the after meal cigarette. That's always feels good. The one that I never really got into was that first in the morning cigarette. That was never mine. It always made me feel a little sick, even when I was like smoking at my heaviest. And I always thought it fucking looked cool though. You watch all these old like detective movies or, criminals, whatever. And I mean, before they're even fully out of bed, they're laying in bed and they get up and you can tell they feel like shit and they're all hungover because, life's hard, blah, blah, blah. And then they turn and they get on their side and they reach for their pack of cigarettes off the nightstand. And then they sit up in bed with like the sheet half over them because you don't know if they're fully naked or just wearing chones. And they just spark up a cigarette and just sit there for a minute. I mean, they are not even fully awake. And the first instinct was to grab a cigarette. Like those dudes in the movies, I was like, that guy's fucking badass. That's the coolest motherfucker in this movie. And, I always aspired to that. And I even tried it once. Like, I remember I was staying at my buddy's house out here in LA, like 15 years ago. And it was this old house in the middle of Filipino town, which we had some really fun nights at, some really wild parties. One time there was a Filipino guy on PCP with a machete that was just we in this house that had a like wrought iron fence around the perimeter, and when there was a little yard, and we were all there was like a big party there, probably like 40-50 people, impromptu thing, and we were all mostly hanging out in this front yard area where the wrought iron gate was, right? And this little Filipino guy just comes out, and he has this machete, and you know, like in horror movies where like somebody scratches nails across a chalkboard, or they like run something across. So he was just taking the machete and just clinking it across the wrought iron gate, just going clink, 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 clink. And then he was just staring at us while he was doing it. And then after a minute, he just started going, bitches. You're all bitches. Suck my dick, bitches. And he did that for like 10 minutes until like a cop drove by on one of the side streets and he got scared and ran away. But shout out to that dude. I hope he's doing well. But yeah, so I was staying at his house, and they had a very open smoking policy, right? Like you could smoke wherever you wanted in this house. And so I said it to myself, before I went to sleep that night, I was jazzed on it. I thought about this. I was like, I'm going to wake up on this couch in the morning. My cigarettes, I'm placing them right here on the table next to me with the lighter on top of the box. And that is what I'm doing right when I wake up. I'm being that grizzled detective in a movie tomorrow morning. I was jazzed on it, dude. So I wake up the next morning. And dude, I mean, I woke up with intention. I didn't even open my eyes. I just like reached over, just plop. And I felt, dude, while I was sleeping, somebody jacked my pack of cigarettes. I was so mad, dude. Cause that's all I wanted to do. That's all I wanted to do was have a cigarette and just be like, it's been 15 years since my partner died. And every day, I live life like it's my last. 9 a.m. ain't too early for a bourbon. It ain't too early for a dame either. You know, something like that. And, but I didn't get to do it because one of my homies swooped on my cigarettes. And by the time I got up, walked around, found them, you know, that moment was gone. And I still don't know who took them and moved them into the kitchen, but I'll never forgive them. And when I say I never forgive them because I said I don't know who the person is, that means that everybody that stayed at that house, I haven't forgiven any of those people, and we're not friends to this day. That's 10 people. I mean, you fucked up my dream. I had a dream. Once. All right. I just did 10 minutes on cigarettes. Like, go fuck yourself, guys. I'm unstoppable today. Maybe getting high is the answer. maybe I've been thinking about this all wrong. Maybe what I need to do is get over the hump, because it happens with me every time. I get a little too high and then I freak myself out and I say I shouldn't be out in public. And then I sit at home and I watch movies until I go to bed, right? Maybe that isn't the answer. Maybe what happens is at like 10:30 at night, when I take my first gummy or take my first hit off the vape pen, maybe what I should be doing is writing out that beginning part of the high and then coming here at midnight to do stand-up high. Like I'm not saying that everything I'm saying is a gem today. I'm just saying that I feel loose. It's loosey-goosey time. And other than this, I'm always fucking nervous and tense about something. So we're having a breakthrough, guys. It's like who needs therapy when you can talk to yourself for 45 minutes once a week? Am I right? Oh, life is sad. All right. So I have a couple other things on this docket here that I want to get to. I keep on saying first and foremost. And then it goes back to me thinking, well, no, you shouldn't be high because you wouldn't say first and foremost after every single thing you say, because it's not the first. We're 20 minutes in, Chad. Okay. Last Wednesday, we did another roast battle at the Haha Comedy Club. The No Llores roast battles, which are becoming really, like, they've been fun since the beginning. Was on the very first battle my homie Digits threw, and now I've done 4. And I am 3-1, 3 wins, 1 loss. And that one loss was against one gentleman I had sitting right here next to me on the podcast like about a month ago. I did an episode, if you want to look back on it, with Kyle Plouffe. He was the champion at the time, and he's got dethroned since. I believe that he got beat. I believe so. But he's the only person that beat me, and it was the most neck and neck battle I've ever seen. We tied from the judges. They called upon the audience to cheer for who their favorite was 4 separate times because it was so close. And then at the end, they gave it to Kyle. And, you know, it's like I was okay with that because he bombed on one joke because they didn't understand it. And then I bombed on my very last joke, my closer, the one that should have been the nail in the coffin, because I stuttered while I was setting up the punchline. And I still won't forgive myself for that because I fucking loved that joke. I mean, dude, I love Kyle and I want a rematch, but I did 3 out of 4 jokes on his dead dad and brother. And the last one was supposed to be like, you're fucking done. And the last one was, what's a bigger stretch? Kyle think he's going to have a career in comedy, or his dad trying to reach the trigger of the shotgun in his mouth? I mean, it was a solid joke, and it could have gotten that whole room, because most of the time when I say something like that, I either get oohs or I get laughs, or sometimes I get both. And in some cases with roast battles, the oohs work out better because somebody's like, damn, dude, you're cold. And that's what I try to do. I try to be as mean as possible, but with respect too, because I always ask whoever I'm battling, is there any line you don't want me to cross? And if they tell me something, I won't do it. Because at the end of the day, I'm not really trying to hurt feelings. I'm trying to put on a good show. So I battled Gabby. Sorry, Gabby, I can't remember your last name right now. Something Mexican? I battled oh fuck, dude, it's bothering me. Okay, so I got Instagram Gabby Makes Jokes. There, I got something more so people can know who you are, because you're funny, dude. Gabby, you are super funny. I like you a lot. She is a wild improv girl who's been doing it for like, what, I think 15 years or something. And started comedy around the same, sorry, stand-up around the same time as I did. Well, I mean, I guess that really means started comedy, because improv isn't funny. And we had a good battle. She had a bunch of punches that she was throwing at me. I just had better jokes, and I won by unanimous decision. All 4 judges picked me. And it was awesome. Like I realized something. When I'm writing stand-up, I tend to write like really dirty, filthy things. And then when I write roast jokes, most of them, if you actually listen, the words are clean. Like I don't if I pull up all my jokes for the roasts I've done, I hardly ever swear for an emphasis. I just say something mean about their life. And it always helps me when somebody has a dead parent, because it's so much fun. That's just me trying to cope with my own dead parent, but it's so much fun to make fun of somebody else for theirs. So we did that. That was good. It was on 420. So as much as I love Los Digits and the No Llores battles, this one was a little wild because it felt like everybody in the audience was on a 5-second delay. So when you said something, it didn't hit right away. it almost took like it seriously it at least 5 to 10 seconds for people to start laughing. That's how high everyone was. There was 3 different weed sponsors there giving out free weed, and in between like each set, people were running outside to smoke. And I mean, everyone there was retarded high, and I didn't take. Oh no, I did take a gummy that night, but I was pretty in my right mind. Like I somehow got higher today than I did that day. I think it was because I took the chill gummy that time. This balance one's doing a number on me. But yeah, everyone was super lit. It seemed a little weird while it's because we had like there was like 10 comics that went up before the actual battle. That took forever. Jason Ellis was there. I got to meet that dude. He's really nice. Fucking yeah, cool dude. That dude's got a fucking dick on him too. I saw him do this Howard Stern thing the other day where he was I can't remember what he was doing to his penis, but he was fully naked, and man, that for a white dude that's uncircumcised, that guy's dropping a hammer, a big old anteater. Anyways, that was good, fun night, and then after that, my whole week's just been work hell. Fucking 13-hour day on Friday, 16 or 17-hour day yesterday. You ever work and then get to the end of the day and think, no one's going to judge me if I cry? It's just a few tears, mainly of joy because I have a day off finally, and a little bit of what the fuck am I doing with my life? Why am I killing myself for somebody else? But, mostly joy that I actually get to sleep in and, live the normal life of a human. I normally record, this is, if just so everybody knows, I'm recording this on Sunday, the fucking 24th, hoping that I can get it out in the next day or two. But I normally record these things like on a Wednesday or Thursday, just so I'm not like rushing anybody to get these things to me. I like there to be time. I like to have time to write out the descriptions and get them uploaded and not have to feel rushed about editing a clip or anything. But my week has been so fucking hellish that this is what I had time for, dude. Sunday at fucking 4 p.m. I'm going to leave here and immediately go pick up my family and try to take them out to dinner and pretend that I see them enough. Because I'm especially after weeks like this, I don't. Like, I wake up in the morning, go to work, and then I come home after they're in bed. And that's not life. That's not life, right? Like, my goal is in the next, like, year or so, save up enough money to take my girls to Japan because they both have always wanted to go there. I'm just sharing personal goals now, guys. That's what happens when you get high, Chad. Okay. Let's go from personal goals to this news story. A teen gets a USB cable stuck in his penis in backfired attempt to measure length. Okay. So, here's the thing. I don't know what's up with the kids of this next generation. Why does everything have to do with something digital that has to do with something in your computer? Whatever happened to just using a ruler? Why can't we go straight analog with measuring our dicks, dude? There's a ruler. It has measurements on both sides. Centimeters, inches. Fucking tuck that thing underneath the base and like kind of push it back so you can say your dick's longer than it is. It's what we've done forever. I am still trying to figure out what the thought process was, and also how fucking wide is this kid's urethra? Because, I mean, that's pretty. I mean, for going down your fucking dick hole, that's a pretty thick cable. A USB cable, like for what, like an iPhone or I don't know, but still, like, you think about that and then you think about the size of your pee hole. And I know that there's a kink. If you don't know this, there's a kink called sounding, where people actually take needles and other sharp objects, like very, very sharpened pencils, and they shove them in their pee hole and twist. And that's like something that gets people off, which all y'all are taking kinks way too far, dude. Like, I used to think I was kinky because, you know, I like a little bit of rough sex, and you can choke me, slap me a little bit. That's fine. But the level people are taking it to nowadays, and the things that people request from friends of mine. I know a girl that a guy asked her to send him her toenails. What, dude? Okay. I'm a person that doesn't like feet in general. Like, I think feet are gross. I tell my wife all the time, I don't want to touch those things. Occasionally, when I'm feeling really nice, I'll surprise her and I'll give her a little foot rub, but I'm thinking about puking the entire time. And this is the woman that I love and I've been with for fucking 11 years. Feet are nasty, dude. Feet are gross. I don't like them. And then the toenail, you know, just all that fucking lint and dirt and, you know, little fucking, it's all fucking nasty. But dudes will get this in the mail and then, I don't know, put them in their mouth and jerk off. Whatever it may be, it's nasty. And people have strange kinks, and sounding is one of them. So this kid, and there's a picture of the actual x-ray that shows, Jesus Christ. He got like the whole thing in there, man. It's wild. I don't know how he did this, but he's a kid from the UK inserted I mean, I know how he did it, but but it, you know, it's just like the gusto. Like if anything, I give this kid props for the perseverance, really. A UK teen had to undergo emergency surgery after a bananas attempt to measure his manhood resulted in him getting a USB cable lodged in his urethra. The phallic fiasco, solid writing, dude. New York Post is the shit. The phallic fiasco reportedly began after an unnamed 15-year-old boy was triggered by sexual curiosity and inserted a USB wire into his urethra. Per a wince-worthy story published by the medical journal Urology Case Reports. Man, they have a website for everything. The sexperiment, all right, I hate the writing now, backfired when the cable became lodged in the curious teen's scrotum. Whoa, dude. He got it in and like down and around. Like an electronic catheter. Despite the attempts to extract it himself, ouch. The USB cord became tangled and so terribly on both ends that so terribly that both ends were left hanging out of his willy. Out of his wired willy. The plug, goddamn, dude, the puns. The plugged up boy's family transported him to the hospital and began, after he began urinating blood. After the initial attempt to move the wire failed, the teen transferred to University College Hospital of London to see if they could extract the intrapenile measuring tape. But also, okay, did he do like a little like inch markers on the USB cable? Well, was he just gonna like shove it down there and then like do like a little mark on it once he got it as far as it can go and then pull it out and be like, this is how long? Dude, if this is how long, that'd be wild. But yeah, I have so many questions about why he chose to measure his dick this way. Like, it's there's just so many different things, dude. Doug, you could use I mean, I know you guys don't have dollar bills in the UK with all your funny money and shit, but I'm sure they're around the same size. A dollar bill is like 6 1/4 inches, dude. Put your hard dick up against the side of that and see if you measure up to a bill, dude. Like, there's so many things. Fucking a hot dog bun. I mean, I've done that as a gag before where you just put your hard dick in a hot dog bun and then fake serve it to your friends. It's hilarious. But see how you measure up to that. Do you fit the bun? Do you fit? There's so many ways. Why are you shoving shit down your dick hole, dude? But I mean, also when I was 15, I was a very probably horny and confused boy. I mean, I'm not probably, I know I was. Like, you spend my family, like, you know, back in those days when the internet was still very fresh as something people would use, and we had dial-up, most of us, unless you were super rich, had one computer for the family. We had a family room computer. So I would go to my room like I was going to bed, and I would sit there in the dark, all quiet, and I would just listen for my parents to go to sleep. And then I'd creep out of my room like a horny little goblin, and I'd run over to the computer, and I would log in, and I would wrap like a fucking towel around the modem to drown out the sounds of the, you know, that shit. Like, doing my best. Of course, like, I maybe only got away with it 1 or 2 times that I was up on the internet. And, you know, usually when the internet sound goes off and it's so loud and obnoxious, you know, that's usually when somebody comes out. You know, you turn the sound down on the computer, you fucking cover everything, you're trying to be quiet, but it just doesn't work out. But these are the lengths that we had to go to. So I understand being a very confused and horny 15-year-old kid, but I also would never in my life choose to shove something down my dick hole. This is where we part, young man. This is not the way. Okay. So there's a news story that I honestly I haven't read. I just pulled up because of the headline. And this woman's alleged killer in New York killed her and then just went to Chipotle after he killed her, right before he got arrested. And the thing is like the tagline is everyone just said he was so friendly and nice. Could you imagine just being like you murder, what was it, his mom, his wife, he knifed his mom in Queens, New York, stabbing her 60 times and then shoved her body into a duffel bag. Just imagine that scenario where you murder the woman that birthed you, and then you say, man, I really worked up an appetite. Chipotle sounds like the best. And then you're just in there talking to all these kids to making you a burrito. I'm like, you gonna charge me for extra guac? You better not, because I'll kill you. And they have no idea that you actually just murdered your own mother and probably would kill them for charging you for guac. This is wild, dude. People have gotten far more fucking loopy than they used to be. It's it's a real ordeal. But you know, it's I just thought that was wild. And just like with this next story, it's nothing more than the headline, where I found a headline that says a dolphin was stabbed in the head and washed up on the shore of Florida Beach. And the first thing that I thought, it wasn't, oh, that poor dolphin, or like, oh, people can be so cruel. My first thought was that dolphin tried to rape the wrong person. Dolphins are notorious rapists. We've talked about this on this podcast. They pull people underwater to fuck them and other animals, and they also just rape their women's, burn their churches. But burn their women, rape their church. If you get it, it's hilarious. But that was the first thing. It sounds like somebody was self-defense against a sex crime. I mean, people have to be with me on this, that we don't stand for sex predators of any kind. It doesn't matter if you're a white male or a bottlenose dolphin. Sex criminals should be imprisoned or killed, and that's it. You know, mostly pedophiles. Let's just get rid of them. Anyways. Da, 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 da. Oh, dude. Okay, I got a story about, before I get into this last thing, which I don't even really like. It's like 2 weeks old now, so I don't really even care about it. But so on Friday at work, and you know, I've mentioned plenty of times, if you even have like a shred of intelligence in your body, you can guess where I work. I just don't say the actual name of the place on this. So, you know, at least I have that bit of anonymity in case they want to fire me for some shit I say. I'd be like, you know, I say this, but I never say the name of the place. And that's the only reason. I just protect a job that's, you know, giving me a decent living right now. Managing all day long. It's, you know, the 14-hour day. It's about the middle of the day, and this old man walks in, probably mid-70s, and he's like, I want beef ribs. And I was like, hello to you too, sir. And I was like, sir, we don't serve those until nighttime. This is lunch. I'm sorry. He's all, well, I just want something with a big bone in it. I want to eat like a man, feel like an animal. Like, all right, well, it's like, we have pork ribs. Like, they're small bones, but you can still eat with your hands and fucking motorboat it for all I care. I don't know. And he was like, all right, well, then give me that. So he sits down at the bar, and I walk to the other side of the bar, and I come up to him, and I was like, do you want a quarter rack of ribs, a half rack of ribs, or a full rack of ribs? And he goes, just a quarter. I don't want to end up being a fat fuck like you. Dude, that was the first one. And I mean, I can appreciate, I've talked about this, I can appreciate roasting, but I also was just like, fucking uncalled for. And I'm at work, so you're not even giving me the opportunity to fire back at you, you piece of shit. Like, I can say very subtle things, but I wanted to go for the throat. So I honestly, I was just like, I froze for a second. I was like, all right. So I bring in his order, walk back over to the end of the bar, and I'm like, hey man, order's getting made. Do you want something to drink? And he looks at me and goes, what is your mother like? I was like, fuck. And the only thing I could think of to say to like hopefully shut him up was, I just looked at him and go, well, actually, she doesn't like anything because she died last year. I just stared at him. And he goes, all right, then I'll just take whatever your sister drinks. Fucking bitch. Dude, it was in that moment that I understood why Chris Rock didn't go after Will Smith with any type of jokes, because he was trying to keep his job. Right? Like, he's in front of the eyes of all of Hollywood. And if he would have done what we all, well, at least I thought initially Chris Rock should have done, was, you know, just, oh, keep my, you know, your wife's name out of my mouth. Well, keep her pussy out of other dudes' mouths. Keep their dicks out of hers. You know, something along those lines. Like, he should have went straight for the throat. It was in that moment where I thought about 10 different things to say. And I even almost pulled the Chris Rock, where like, man, I could, you know, but I was just like, fuck it. This is it. I'm not going to say anything. I was like, I'm just going to make this guy his fucking drink and give him his check and let life go on. And so I now, on a much smaller scale than what he went through, am empathetic to Chris Rock more than I was in a previous episode where I called him a pussy for not being a comic in that moment. I guess personal growth. Let's call it that. Let's call it personal growth. You know what? This last story, I don't even care about anymore. I think we're going to cut it right there. Unless I might have, oh, 1 second. I might have something saved on my phone. Cause you know, if I don't double check and look, what's going to happen is I'm going to leave here. And then I'm going to be like, dude, you didn't fucking talk about this. And next week it's going to be too fucking late. And then I'm going to hate myself for like, like a day or two at least. And I doesn't look like I have anything else. All right. So, like, subscribe, rate, review, all that stuff. Catch me at more No Yoris roast battles and at the haha. I usually do it every other week. Besides that, I think I have a show coming up. Just follow me on Instagram. I'll always post that shit. This has been The Worst with Chad Austin. Lizzo's a fat pig. I'm out.